Harvard has trained so many Chinese Communist officials, they call it their party school, you know?
You guys have probably been hearing about Harvard. You've probably been seeing headlines like this, right?
Yes.
This Harvard commencement speaker worked for an organization tied to China's military. So amidst all these allegations of all this stuff, right? Harvard's under the magnifying glass now under the Trump administration.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think they wouldn't pick their commencement speaker to be a CCP-connected person from China, but they did.
They did.
But in order to understand this,
Yeah.
we're going to have to actually watch the speech. So if you hadn't seen it, it's a minute.
Yeah.
We have to see what she said.
But we have to see exactly what she says. It's important. Her words are incredibly impactful, so we have to listen to them, okay? Let's take a look.
Open your ears.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, good Lord.
That was a pretty good speech.
Yeah, I mean, I can see how that would change a lot of minds, right? Yeah. And that's how the CCP works, is they get their folks in there. Mm-hmm. They get them to get their talking points out there to the world.
Yep.
And you walk away going, you know, maybe what I've heard about the CCP is not so bad.
Yeah.
You understand how coercive that is?
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of power in that.
So,
those words.
Anyway, her speech was, well, I watched it, and it sounds kind of all nice and lovey-dovey and stuff, but it's actually Xi Jinping's propaganda. Mm-hmm. It's actually Xi Jinping's
Yes. So
words.
Harvard hosted a CCP-connected woman to recite Xi Jinping propaganda.
Now, here's the thing. There's this really, really cool YouTuber in Taiwan. I believe he's in Taiwan. He speaks incredibly good Chinese, and he found something about this speech.
This is important.
He found something very important. Something
Link below.
Yeah, something we'd actually reported on last week. So we thought we'd just watch this together with you guys, okay? Because he explains it better than we could.
Hao Ji-che is
Hao Ji-che is his name. Yeah.
Enemies are human too. The most hypocritical phrase you've ever heard is now the center of a massive controversy and discussion online.
If a little boy dies in a war that he didn't start and never understood, part of me dies with him.
Now the title of the speech, Our Humanity, and she concludes it with one very specific term.
You may disagree with them, but hold on to them, as we are bound by something deeper than belief. Our shared humanity.
Shared humanity. 很奇怪耶. This phrase sounds very familiar, almost like I've heard it before.
维护世界和平，促进世界发展，持续推动构建人类命运共同体。
Shared humanity has been the slogan for the CCP poster boy since he took office and refused to leave. So after that infamous commencement speech, a lot of people started digging into Jiang Yurong's background and quickly discovered that her father is part of the Chinese Biodiversity Conservation and Green Development Foundation, aptly named the CBCGDF. When it comes to the CBCGDF, she turns out to be the daughter of the executive director of an NGO funded by the CCP. And here's the kicker. Jiang Yurong was actually recommended by none other than Zhou Jingfeng, a member of the National Committee for the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference.
CPPCC.
So that means that Jiang Yurong has some deep ties to the CCP. Of course, this is all speculation, but I'm going to show you direct evidence that shows the homegirl's speech was beyond hypocritical. In fact, she even assisted the CCP in giving the boot to Taiwanese and Tibetan protesters at Harvard.
Do you remember last week we covered this?
Yes.
You know, because it's relevant. The whole Harvard thing where
This is where this gets nuts.
Yeah, the ambassador came to talk.
Yeah.
And you had the Taiwanese and Tibetan protesters, and they got dragged out by that Harvard student who was Chinese national.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's take a look. Let's continue.
During the Q&A section of our discussion.
Do you remember this? Almost exactly a year ago, the Chinese ambassador came to Harvard to give a speech and was immediately protested by a Taiwanese and a Tibetan student.
We just got kicked out of our own university. Right now, Xie Feng, the Chinese ambassador to the United States, is inside giving a propaganda speech. We Harvard students went in to tell him that we will not give him this undeserved platform. Xie Feng is spinning bloody lies touting the good China story. Well, this is the real China story. China lies people down.
Now in the video, the first Taiwanese girl was forcibly dragged out by another Chinese student with absolutely zero law enforcement authority. That student turns out to be Wen Zhouhongji, the co-chairman of the Harvard University Chinese Students and Scholars Association.
I got a big problem with these. The Chinese Students and Scholars Associations are always tied to the Chinese consulate or embassy. They get directions from them. They communicate. And the embassy will tell them, make sure that this person who wants to do a Taiwanese food stall or something, shut them down. You know, keep an eye on the students. They report back to us if you see anything. So to allow these Chinese Students and Scholars Associations into your universities at all is a massive mistake. You know, definitely a big problem. These shouldn't be allowed in the United States.
Agreed.
At all.
The very association that helped organize this entire event and invite the ambassador to the conference.
You see that? Like the Chinese Students and Scholars Association organized the event to get the ambassador to come
For the
do
propaganda speech for the CCP in a Harvard.
Yeah, these, again, you know, the Confucius Institute never really went away. They just always label it something else, like the Language Institute or something or other, and they still keep their ties in the universities. But these particular, associations need to be kicked out. They should not be allowed.
Well, wait till you see what happened.
Yeah.
And they both entered into Harvard in the fall of 2023 at the exact same time.
Now, my country, Taiwan, you've got to do the same.
And did you notice that last
student assaulted the protesters, just in case you didn't see last week's episode, removed them, and just so you know, he got an apology from Harvard, and the two protesters, the Taiwanese and the Tibetan girl,
they got suspended.
And
a disciplinary hearing. Yeah.
Frame, the girl standing on the side looking like a staff member, well, that is our main character, Jiang Yurong.
What?
Now, I know some of you are already up in the comments like, fair enough. Let me show you another video from a different angle.
You come to paint the illusion of a prosperous China, but your hands are painted with blood. You've robbed the Hong Kongers of the most fundamental freedoms and devastated their democracy. Now, my country, Taiwan, you've got to do the same.
Now, I paused at this spot. Look closely at the scarf on this girl. Remember that scarf? I spent an hour searching online finding this. A photo of Jiang Yurong at the exact same event wearing the exact same scarf. And then I spent another 2 hours trolling her LinkedIn, and it is actually her account that posted the photo. And on the exact same day, the scarf in the photo matches the one in the protest video perfectly. The only difference is that she's wearing a jacket in this photo, but not in the video. But the scarf, the hairstyle, and the facial features are a dead ringer. I'm 99.99999% sure that this is Jiang Yurong. And I know some of you are going to be really quick to retort, it's
损啊！如果真的是他的话，他只是站在那边而已啊，他没有在干嘛啊？你怎么可以说他是帮助中共诶？
Fair point. But then I took another 2 hours and did some more digging and found this. Now look closely at the top left corner at the start. The same girl in a white top, black pants, long wavy hair, walking from the left side of the stage to the right side of the stage as the Taiwanese girl gets dragged out by Zhou Hongqi. And then...
Now, my country, Taiwan, you got to do the same. Got to do the same.
Now you can see the girl with the exact same scarf appears. And after the Taiwanese girl is drug out, the Tibetan girl stands up to protest. And Jiang Yurong, or what appears to be her, returns to the left side of the frame, looking hurried as if she's rushing to get someone to assist. And then you can see Zhou Hongqi following her, trying to stop the Tibetan girl. But ultimately, he is blocked by someone who's an actual security guard. In short, Jiang Yurong went to get Zhou Hongqi to stop these 2 protesters.
If a girl who skips school out of fear of harassment, that threatens my dignity.
But you saw a girl being violently dragged away by a grown-ass man, and you just stood there doing nothing.
What I've gained most from Harvard isn't just calculus or regression analysis. It's to sit with discomfort. Listen deeply and stay soft in hard times.
And yet, when you saw another girl stand up to protest, you chose to get a guy to drag her away. Where is the enemy who is also human? Where is the shared humanity?
Every time a fish dies in a military exercise around Taiwan.
I just wanted to play this because Lola Farley also put something out. Listen, I think the guy made a very good analysis in his video.
Yes.
I will agree with him.
Yeah.
You cannot be 100% certain it was her,
Sure.
but I'm pretty sure it was her. And the fact that she's willing to, grab the fellow CCP student to come and help drag the protesters out means she doesn't care about, the plight of women or, anything like that. She doesn't care about any of that. And that's the CCP ways to control the narrative. To go out there, use the words that they know are effective against you. Because we're going to respond in the West to that kind of speech. But it's not true in China. There is massive discrimination against Uyghurs, ethnic minorities, massive discrimination against anyone who's not the Han majority over there.
They get imprisoned. They get put in concentration camps.
Exactly. So
families get imprisoned.
That kind of speech is very disingenuous.
Yes.
Because it doesn't apply to China.
Well, let's see what Lila says about that. Makes a good point.
Lila Farley, of course, friend of the channel, great comedian, and also a political commentator, put out this funny little skit.
A part of me dies too. Every time a Filipino's fishing ship gets sprayed with water, I get soaked too. Every time a fat American without health insurance dies of COVID, I say, stop the China hate, you racist asshole, because the person you label as an enemy, well, they're a person too. Unless they're Taiwanese, Hong Kongese, Uyghurs, counter-revolutionaries, Japanese, or fat Americans. But aside from those above-mentioned groups, we're all in this together.
The message itself is, if I have to put it into one sentence, it would be humanity rises and falls as one.
Pause real quick. This is incredible.
Yes.
I mean, this is the most, I wish more people were watching right now. This is the juiciest thing that could have happened.
So funny.
She's found out to be helping narc on the protesters. CCP tied.
Yes.
Harvard's screwed, right?
Yeah.
Then they go do an interview with her, right?
Yeah.
And she goes, if I had to sum it up in one sentence, humanity rises and falls together, right?
Yeah.
But look in the background on the right while she says it.
Humanity rises and falls as one.
There's 2 guys beating the shit
beautiful
out of each
timing. Beautiful timing. Rises and falls together, and the 2 guys fell down together. That's kind of hilarious.
They didn't just fall down, they beat each other.
Yeah,
They were
exactly,
fighting,
but they fell down,
punching each other, and they fell at the exact moment. Unreal.
Yeah, you can't make that up. This is good. Do you want to read this quickly?
Yeah, so this is from Nathan Law.
Yes.
Hong Kong democracy activist, very famous.
Yes, very
Says, selecting Luana Jiang as the woman that you just saw as Harvard's graduate speaker was not a wise decision. The choice presumably aimed to showcase the benefits of internationalization and diversity in American higher education. It had the opposite effect. It has unintentionally reinforced the stereotype of elite U.S. institutions as serving global elites, criticism particularly arose from those of authoritarian regimes, while appearing indifferent, if not complicit, to malign foreign influence. Jiang's address focused on the concept of a shared future of humanity, mirrors the Xi Jinping quote, right? So you can continue. This is all linked on his Substack, by the way. So I just wanted to shout Nathan Law out.
Yes.
He's a great speaker on behalf of human rights for China.
Yeah, he's a fighter for human rights,
Yes.
and unfortunately he's in exile. It's definitely, you really have to read what he has to say, because it's so
we have literally so much
important.
material.
Yes.
It's very important. It's down below. Substack isn't linked. As are both of those videos that we just saw.
I would like to read the last paragraph here. What concerns me most is how these sugar-coated pacifist messages can blur the judgment of even the most intelligent minds. It will ultimately lead to more suffering around the world because dictators don't get as much scrutiny and accountability. The speech delegation decision may deepen public skepticism towards institutions like Harvard, casting them as naive or worse, complicit in the face of obvious danger. Yeah. Please go read what he has to say if you've got the time. All right.
But it's not Harvard. It's not just University of Michigan. It's Stanford too.
Yeah.
Another massive university. A case study on how Beijing infiltrates U.S. universities. Unreal stuff. Go ahead.
Okay.
We'll just paraphrase this super quickly. But basically, there were the CCP was taking students and turning them into spy operatives in Stanford as well. Why? To get research, right? Just steal research.
Every single week I'm asked to meet a handler where I'll be asked to talk about the research I'm doing, the directions that research is going in, how that research is progressing, and how we could re-implement that research back in China.
So you have Chinese CCP handlers, so spies in America, presumably around this university, going in, get this. Xi Jinping says we need this and this and this.
Yes.
And when you get that stuff, tell us how we can actually work with this in China.
Yeah, it says if their handlers have interest in, let's say, artificial intelligence or quantum computing, they will reach out to that student and ask them to provide documents, internal memos, methodologies, future directions of the research. And they have to. Remember, we said there's a 2017 law. So if you are a student studying in a US university, and you're Chinese, you must by law. If you get reached out, if someone phones you, because they know you, the consulate knows exactly where you are. They know where you live because, you're there on a visa. They know everything about you. They will reach out to you through WeChat or physically. They'll come and see you. They'll phone you, whatever. And they'll be like, listen, you're studying this. We need to know more about it. This is what you need to give us. And you cannot say no.
No.
You cannot say no.
So they'll first try to coerce you with
incentives.
If you don't want to do the incentives, you don't want to get in trouble in America, then they punish your family in China.
Yes. See, some conduct espionage for Beijing willingly. There's some students who want to work with the Chinese government, and they're happy to do this. They want to advance their careers. Others are victims of what the reporters call transnational repression, in which the long arm of the Chinese state security reaches across the Pacific into the United States. And there talks about the 2017 National Intelligence
Where you have
law.
to share everything with China.
So,
the law.
Here's the thing. It's not about racially stereotyping because, of course, people from Taiwan are the same race. But, they're not Chinese. They're not Chinese nationals. They're Taiwanese nationals. They don't have the same scrutiny. They don't have the same problems.
No.
It's not about race. It's about law. So when you see a Chinese student studying something that's very important to national security
in America,
it's not like, oh, he's Chinese, so he'll probably steal something. No, he's Chinese, so the Chinese government can request for him to send everything back by law, he has to. So it's not about like stereotyping and being racist or whatever. It's about knowing what's going on and barring certain people. Like Chinese nationals shouldn't be allowed because their government can force them to give all that information back to China. They shouldn't be allowed to research sensitive stuff. It's that simple. And it's not about racism or xenophobia or exclusion or anything like that. It's literally about you are training the enemy at that point.
Yeah, I like this. I'm meeting all these people and they say, I work for the Chinese Communist Party in a really high role. I hope that China beats the US. And I also went to Stanford for my undergraduate master's degree. And I'm putting this together and I'm saying, it's shocking that we're educating such high-level Communist Party officials. What's going wrong here? Yeah. You have CCP officials doing high-level research, stealing it, having a spy network steal the research, and then going back to China saying, I want China to win and I want the USA to fail.
Yeah.
And I went to the US to do that.
You're educating the enemy.
Yes.
You're teaching the enemy how to beat you.
Yes.
It's rubbish.
As simple as that, right?
Fix it.
Simple as that. And just don't forget the allegiances. Like some of these people, a lot of these Chinese students don't want to help the Chinese government. They genuinely like America and they want to be here, right?
Yeah.
But they don't have a choice,
Yes.
right? Then you have people that do have a choice.
Yes, like this dude.
Graduating from an American university, what does he do? He takes out a Chinese flag. Bro,
What are you doing?
You just got educated in America. You had to come to my country to get an education. I welcome you here.
Yeah.
But you brandish your national flag for your country.
Get out of here.
Come on. Come on.
Come on, it's like when I was studying
bullshit.
Chinese in the
tasteless.
Shenzhen University at our graduation ceremony.
you unfurl a
I
South
didn't
African
whip out a
flag?
South African flag and say, "Yeah." What is it? What are you
If
proving?
I graduate from a Chinese university,
Yeah.
I would hold a Chinese flag.
Exactly.
You know why? Because I got my university degree there if I
Yes.
studied there. That country gave that to me.
Exactly. He should be holding an American flag there. What a douche.
It's just it's the
I have only-
hypocrisy.
Yes.
This is a great finishing quote for this segment. I hope you
Yes.
guys enjoyed this segment.
Yeah.
Let's hear it out. This is a
5
congressman.
minutes.
Mr. Harrigan.
So I cannot read the other countless examples of CCP infiltration into our national research apparatus, but my team compiled 58 different instances of various forms of research espionage that has occurred just in the last 6 years. So after reading this report and after listening to your testimony today, it is incredibly troubling, and I simply want to know one thing. Why do we still have any Chinese nationals inside of our research institutions, especially within institutions that participate in research that is critical to our national interests and our national security?
That was Congressman Mr. Harrigan.
Mr. Harrigan, yeah. And he's right. Why?
Why?
It shouldn't be allowed.
I mean, this is, I gotta say, this is where this administration got it right. We have to do increased scrutiny on CCP connected students.
Correct.
It's just they become spies unwillingly.
Yes, it's not their fault.
No.
They have to.
I have such an irrational
Dude.
hatred for these guys.
I'm with you on that. There is a girl who stands there looking over your shoulder. She does nothing else. Dude's underwear that's hanging up to dry in his truck. They're destroyed.
This is called the Hornets of Death.
Okay.
Okay.
And there's the dessert. It's like
They think that you lose all your heat through your head, so it's most important to cover your head. It's not true at all.
maybe if you go mess with the nest, then the bird doesn't want to return to the nest.
That's actually not true, though. The Chinese ain't do Tiananmen Square. I did. Okay. That's when
This is pretty funny.
That's
Yeah.
when I knew I had to understand
Right,
this
right.
man.